Hello everybody, this is Carla here again. This time I'm coming to review episode 3 of season 2 of Scorpion, which is titled Fish Fillet. Now, this episode started off a bit slow, but honestly, Sly is my favorite character, so every episode that centers on him, I'm bound to like. And I really like what they did with him in this episode because even from the previous episode, there was this running theme that he had to deal with anxiety in order to tell Megan about his feelings for her, and it seemed in the previous episode that he kind of got the hang of it, but this time he really had to face like all his fears. It's not even irrational. Who in their right mind would actually want to be undercover in a prison? I mean, even the bravest person in the world would think twice about doing that. And just imagining the amount of germs in that place, let alone the crazy, dangerous people, it would make everybody think twice. Every single person, I think. And the fact that it had to be him, I really liked it. And the fact that he showed his colors, really, that it wasn't necessarily because of Megan or because he wanted to be able to express his feelings for Megan, but just the idea that, he didn't want those judges to die because he knew the consequences that would happen. Just doing the right thing. I liked that they made it that way. I mean, yes, Toby says it's for selfish reasons, of course, that you don't want to carry that on your conscience and whatever, but still, it just means that you're a good person. And his life was awesome, man. I mean, he wiped his nose with the dude's colors, and then he did not completely freak out when the dude threatened to kill him by 10, and then he took pills from some random guy in prison just because Toby said he had to in order to borderline die. I mean, are you insane? Of course this show is insane. That's normal. They take things to the furthest extremes possible, but still, you can see what his bravery is really about. He's going to complain the whole way, but he's going to do what's right, and I really love him for that. Especially, in the end he was actually fighting. That was amazing to me. He was starting to choke that guy when he grabbed him through the bars and he broke his finger. I mean, come on. You would think it's a fighter, but no, it's Sly. It's the most peaceful guy in the world. And when he has to be brave and take a stand, he will. And so that alone is the entire reason I love this episode. It wasn't that interested in the beginning. I only really began to enjoy it when the breakout plan came through. Just the idea of him having to die and them having to trust Ray in order to get him out. That part I really got into. I really love Ray. He's so funny. And I just love that it's not all about the geniuses. Because these people, they're really smart and they can do anything they set their mind to because they're just that intelligent. But sometimes you just need help from someone who's not in that same clan. That's why they have Paige, and that's why they have Ray now. Because, yeah, sometimes you need to look at things from the other side, and sometimes logic just doesn't really work. And that's why I really loved Ray. And he is just hilarious. I mean, him trying to, be Walter's BFF and Walter just being no. And that was way too funny. Also, another thing I liked about it is, hey, Ralph is alive! I know, they've mentioned him in the past 2 episodes, but he wasn't really there. So it's nice to see the kid back, and I really like the way he solved his problem. I would never have thought of that, and really none of them would have thought of it. So that's great, and I really like that he's like, no, I'm staying in elementary school because I need to learn how to be around people, or I'm gonna end up like you weirdos. That was so funny because it's basically what the show is all about. You know, it's him trying to find a balance between how intelligent he is and how social he has to be, how emotionally balanced he has to be. So that is a really funny thing that happened in this episode, and I really like seeing Rolf back. They need to use him more because sometimes they can just kind of put him in the back burner, and to me he's a really important piece of the show. Last, I really enjoyed this whole thing with Toby, and I mean, you know, I ship them and I want them to be together, so I'm wondering what the heck is going on there. I'm pretty sure this date Happy was on isn't really a date. I mean, there's something fishy about it, no pun intended. Something fishy about the fact that she won't tell anyone what she's doing, and you know, I just expected to be some kind of red herring, I guess. Probably she's like trying to do something for Toby, and it involves that dude, and she can't tell him that Toby thinks it's the completely opposite thing. So I don't know. I'm really thinking there's something more to it, and it's not just her dating some dude, because that would be cold even for Happy. And as for Toby, it was just really funny to see him like flailing around at the punching bag before Cabe came in to teach him how to do it. So that was really cute. Speaking of cute, just that last scene with Sly and Megan, they're adorable together, and the whole dance, like making dance thing, like only Sylvester would actually think that's a good way to tell someone you love them, but it works because he's just so adorable, and Megan totally gets him, gets that he's not like other people, and gets the meaning behind the crazy stunts he pulls. So that was really cute. It was a good episode for ships in general. I mean, there's the whole Walter and Paige thing, which is still pretty much unresolved and probably gonna stay that way, but I really like that aspect of this episode, at least. As far as the Cabe and Morales thing, I really do not care. Like, I think both of them kind of have some truth to what they're saying. Like, on the one hand, I understand Cabe saying that nobody should be left behind if you can help it. On the other hand, Morales does have a point when it comes to national security. You know, some risks are acceptable. But I fully expect the show to go with Cabe's answer, because they pulled this whole will they fire him, won't they fire him thing over and over and over again in the first season, and it's really starting to get old. So I hope he gets to keep his job, and I hope Morales kind of changes her mind about things when it comes to working with Team Scorpion. But otherwise, I really don't care. I'm not into the politics, not really. So yeah, I think this episode started off really slow, and it didn't really get interesting until the escape plan. Near the end, the whole thing where Sly had to like take the pills and pretend to be dead, and the others would have to take him out through the morgue. That was when I really started getting into it, mainly because of all the character development it represented for Sly, because I really think they did a great thing showing how brave he is and how willing he is to do the right thing, even though it scares him to death. So I hope they keep trying to push that character development in him. I think Sly has it in him to be one of the most rounded characters in this universe. Like, even with all his own personal setbacks and the limitations he imposes on himself, I think he could be one of the characters that actually gets to, I don't know, be relatively happy despite all of that. and I look forward to it, although I think it's gonna be a while until we see that again, because this episode was big for him, that I don't think they're necessarily going to revisit him anytime soon in the season, but hopefully we'll get some more of that, because those are always very entertaining episodes. So yeah, this episode wasn't the most memorable, really, but in the end I found it pretty entertaining, and that's pretty much my thought of it. It didn't feel like a filler, it didn't feel like an arc kind of episode either. It was kind of somewhere in between, and I liked it. It was entertaining, and it kept my attention pretty well once it got going. So yeah, that's pretty much my review for this episode. You guys can check out the geekypub.com for more Scorpion reviews, as well as reviews for other TV shows, movies, books, games, etc. We have a bit of everything in there, so be sure to visit. And that's it for me right now. I'll see you guys later.